call the meeting to order at this time. Miss James, if you would, please do the invocation. Mr. Child, lead us in the pledge, please.
Let us pray. Lord, as we come to you today, we thank you for all the blessings we have. We pray for each council member that's here tonight and all those present. We ask that you be with all the citizens of the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Keep them safe during this year, and we ask that you take us through this year and no one in the city, the employees or their families, come to harm. As we move into this too, we also ask for our president that you bless him and give him the knowledge that he needs to make the right decisions for our country. We ask these in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting. If members of the council have had an opportunity to review these, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second, sir.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, communications from the mayor. Just like to say welcome to everyone. Hopefully 2019 going to be better than 2018, and as far as this city goes, 2018 was a pretty good year. So we look forward to 2019. Encourage anybody that wants to come to City Hall, talk to anybody. The doors are always open, so just come on. You don't need an appointment. Next item on the agenda is zoning matters. We have none. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. Ordinance number 1 is the second reading of ordinance number 2018-21. Mr. Stoltz.
City of Fort Oglethorpe Charter Amendments, ordinance number 2018-21, an ordinance to amend the charter for the City of Fort Oglethorpe to provide provisions therein, to repeal conflicting provisions or parts thereof, to provide for an adoption date and all other purposes allowed by law. Whereas the duly elected governing authority of the City of Fort Oglethorpe is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia and the Official Code of Georgia annotated 3651 and the Charter of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Article 1, Section 1.13D and Article 7, or Section 7.10, to review its charter and make reasonable clarifications, amendments not altering the governmental structure of the City of Fort Oglethorpe charter so as to improve the public health, safety, welfare, and aesthetics of the citizens of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. And whereas the duly elected governing authority of the City of Fort Oglethorpe is vested in the City Council composed of a mayor and City Council members, and it is hereby ordained by the governing authority of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, that Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia charter is hereby amended as follows. Part 1. Charter, Article 5, Sections 5.16, removal of officers, add Section C. Upon removal pursuant to this section, the removed officer shall not be eligible to qualify for election to fill the vacancy created by his or her removal during the unexpired term from which he or she was removed. Section D. Upon removal pursuant to this section, the officer shall no longer be entitled to any benefits or salary of office from which he or she was removed, effective the date of removal. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, this charter amendment shall take effect upon the approval of the mayor and council.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 2 under ordinances. First reading of ordinance number 2019-01. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2019-01, zoning ordinance, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by the authority thereof. Section 1. that the following property owned by ERTH LLC is hereby granted a zoning variance for the property known as part of map 0010B036 Emerson Circle. Said property is particularly described in an exhibit attached here to is Exhibit A. If any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair the other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part to be held invalid or unconstitutional. This ordinance shall take effect on or after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 14th day of January 19. This second reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Ordinance number 3, first reading of ordinance number 2019-02. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2019-02, zoning variance, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof, that the following property owned by ERTH LLC is hereby granted a zoning variance for the property known as part of map 0010B036 Emerson Circle. Said property is particularly described in Exhibit A attached to this ordinance. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 14th day of January 2019. This is second reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Ordinance number 4, first reading of ordinance number 2019-03. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2019-03, zoning variance, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by ERTH LLC is hereby granted a zoning variance for the property known as part of map 0010B036 Emerson Circle. Said property is particularly described as follows in the Exhibit A attached to this ordinance. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair the parts of the ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 14th day of January 2019. This is second reading, Mr. Mayor.
That was the first reading or second reading?
This is the second. This is first reading. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. We have none. Next item, unfinished business. We have none. Next item is reading of city clerk of any communications. We have none. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1 under new business, appoint mayor pro tem. This time I open up the floor for nominations for mayor pro tem.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to nominate Councilman Jimmy Childs to be mayor pro tem.
Have a motion for Councilman Childs.
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Good luck.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Childs, you're mayor pro tem. Item number 2, new business, proposed approval of intergovernmental election agreement. Ms. Simpkins.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This is a request to approve an intergovernmental agreement with the Catoosa County Board of Elections and Registration to conduct elections on behalf of the City of Fort Oglethorpe. We've had an existing agreement that's similar to this. This agreement actually expands the duties at no additional cost to the City of Fort Oglethorpe. So the Catoosa County Board of Elections and Registration will actually do everything from candidate qualification, if anyone's interested in running for a seat in the City of Fort Oglethorpe, to building and printing ballots, tallying ballots, on-site technical support during advanced voting, on-site election day technical support, and certification of final election results. The cost of this service is $13,403. we recommend approval, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second, sir.
Any discussion? Ms. Simpkins and myself spent quite a bit of time with them. This is pretty much like the old one. It does get it to where it doesn't have to be renewed every year. And it also has a section in it to where the contract could be voided at any time by either party. So I think it's a pretty good solution, and it's also going to put everything at the county, where last year we were doing some of it here and some of it at the county. So I think it's a good deal for the city. Any other comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4 under new business, proposed approval of bid to clean and paint City Hall. Mr. Quarles.
The Department of Building and Zoning recommends award of ITB 009-19 City Hall exterior paint and police evidence room interior paint to the low bidder, Terrace Systems, in the amount of $47,509. The funding source is 2014 Splosh.
Thank you, Mr. Quarles. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
It's about time.
Mr. Quarles, I'm assuming that I noticed that parts of this section where it is, I don't know if it's peeled off or if that stucco has just came off. They are going to repair that, I'm assuming.
Yes, the EFS, all the exterior, they're going to,
Either do away with it or repair it.
yeah, they'll have to, because that's part of the insulation system on the building. And they'll do the gutters, the metal steel doors. I can't remember how many. They won't do like this type of framing.
Right.
But the actual exterior doors, they'll have them painted too.
Okay.
That's the entire exterior.
Yeah, they'll put 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of paint, and then they'll clean it. So it may take, weather permitting, it might take up to 2 weeks or maybe a little longer.
Any other questions?
Colors.
They said I get to pick any, so bright orange, maybe. The white
Well,
stripe.
it's not
No.
orange. No,
No,
we don't do
no.
orange.
They actually have a designer that'll come up and help if we choose. I'm not gonna pick color.
The police evidence room is going to be light gray, looks like, based upon what's here. But the exterior of City Hall and walls, et cetera, doesn't look like there's anything that has been selected yet.
Right, there was no color. I think that would be up to city manager or somebody besides me.
We'll rely on
Yeah.
their designer and the recommendations.
Hopefully a beige or a gray. So.
Yeah, recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll all be run by you all before they start that.
Is it going to still have the two-tone, like that ribbon that goes through?
Red and black.
It's whatever we choose.
Yeah, the ribbon is the part that's deteriorating all around the building.
Yeah, it's just that insulation system over the years has not been taken care of very well.
Any other question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 4 under new business, proposed approval of MOU Police Department grant. Chief Helton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a recommendation to approve a MOU with the Lookout Mountain Drug Task Force. The city is joined with the Drug Task Force and the other agencies within the judicial circuit for a number of years now and participated with the task force, and we've had an officer that's been attached to it throughout the years. This specific one is for a period that's already passed. It ended in December of 2018, but for the purpose of complying with the grant requirements of JAG burn, the task force needs to clean up their paperwork for the year. So you'll note that this is from July 2018 through December, and they need to acquire this before the end of January. There's no additional cost to us at all, nothing budget-wise. It's just the formality of joining in the agreement. And on the first page of the agreement, you'll notice that there's always room each time for parties to re-examine the extent of the memorandum. We're in that period where Mr. Stoltz and my office have begun discussing any new things that might need to go into 2019s, but we have some time for that.
Thank you, Chief Helton. Have a motion to approve.
Motion, sir.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Chief, it looks like we have one officer assigned to this.
Yes, that's correct.
Do we know who that officer is?
Greg Cross. He's been our representative the entire time that Fort Oglethorpe's been involved.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Chief Helton, if you don't mind, I think we lost an individual over that drug task force here last week before last. If you just want to comment, and we want to, of course, keep his family in our prayers. But if you don't mind, just mention a little bit. He's pretty well known and respected in this community.
Commander Pat Doyle, he will be seriously missed. He was a great leader for that task force, been serving there a number of years. We just posted in the police department today that his family has established a college fund for his son. That was his pride and joy, was his son, and we've asked our folks if any of them would like to keep them in mind and contribute towards that college fund. He spent a lot of time hunting and bonding with his son, and I think that was his only child. That meant the world to him. And we thank him for his service. We thank his family for his sacrifice. He put in a lot of hours. And whenever the call came in, usually that's after dark, it's after 5 o'clock in the afternoons, where they would always respond anytime they're needed. So, great man. Worked
Yes.
hard.
Thank you, Chief
Thank
Helton.
you.
Item number 5 under new business, proposed approval to sell or dispose of surplus items. Mr. Parker.
Mr. Mayor, what I'm requesting approval to declare surplus 3 vehicles and an old triple wide trailer that sits on the city property on Max Smith Road. It's pretty much just dilapidated and falling down. The vehicles are a Dodge van, Ford Escape, and an Ford F-150. The Dodge van and the Ford Escape are still in service at this time. The replacements for both of those vehicles have been approved and are on order. So what we want to do is go ahead and get approval to surplus these when the new replacement vehicles are in service. The F-150 is a confiscated vehicle sitting over in the police department parking lot. And then the triple wide trailer was something the city acquired from TVA probably 20 years ago. And it's just sit out there and just deteriorated. So we would want to look and see about just probably having it tore down and hauled off. We haven't set a sale date because I don't know when these other vehicles will be in.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 6, under new business, proposed approval to purchase parts for Lakeshore Pump Station. Mr. Parker.
Okay, this is a request to purchase new impellers for the pumps, seal kits, O-rings, bearings. The pump station was put in service in 1996, and we never have replaced the impeller. We recently had a spill at that location, partly was due to the fact we couldn't move enough water quick enough when we had the rain event. So what I'm asking to do is replace these impellers. They are in stock in Forsyth, which is unusual because this is a flight station and they're manufactured overseas, and a lot of parts have to be ordered from overseas. These are in stock here in Jordan and the Atlanta area. And so just requesting that approval, purchase these parts, get the pump station back to higher capacity of operation.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. I have a motion to approve.
Motion?
I have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
This will save us some money on the spills too.
Well, hopefully it'll eliminate that.
Good.
The parts are $13,217.72.
City personnel are qualified to install all
We
these
will
parts.
do this. And the only thing we may have to farm out would be the bearings. In some cases, they have to be pressed on. We don't have a press large enough to do that. But most of the work, 90% of the work, we'll do ourselves.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report, Ms. Simpkins.
Well, I want to just mention that we're in the process of wrapping up our 2018 financials, and our books close at the end of January 2019. So first meeting in February, we'd be happy to give you all a year-end update on our financial position. And just also on behalf of all city staff, we want to thank you all for the opportunity, you, mayor and council, and the residents to serve. And just as the mayor said earlier, we're here anytime, and if there's anything that we can do to help resolve any issues from citizens or businesses out there, as long as it's within our jurisdiction, we're happy to do so. So come see us. Thank you, mayor and council.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. Next item on the agenda, City Council comments, Mr. Childs.
Welcome 2019. We're going to have a good year in this city.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Mr. Crawford.
I don't have anything, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers.
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stinnett.
Yes, sir. Honor Park, a tribute to those who serve, is becoming more and more a place that the citizens are enjoying. With the addition of our new flagpole, which is 30 feet tall, and other additions, trees, pavers, monuments, citizens are beginning to write in and tell how much they enjoy. I received a letter on January the 11th that reads, Miss Stinnett, I just wanted to let you know how thrilled we are with Honor Park. I live close and walk the area frequently. I have 2 granddaughters who live with me, and they love it as well. Everly, who is 7, is a very unique, community-involved little girl. She always picks up any trash in that area, and even from the creek at times. She's always saying she wants to do more. On a recent walk, she was so excited to see the military Christmas tree, and we stood and read it together. We felt so honored to do this. I just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Sincerely, Renee Talent. Renee, thank you and Everly for visiting Honor Park, and want to encourage all citizens to do so. And please write in and tell me your thoughts about the park, because this is your place. We'll close with 1919 Club for the 6th Cavalry Museum. When you visit Honor Park, also go by and visit the 6th Cavalry Museum. Christine McKeever is the director there, and I think you'll enjoy learning about the history of the wonderful, beautiful area in which we live. Sir, council, that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Ms. Stinnett. Next item on the agenda is citizens' petitions and requests. We do not have anything tonight. Next item on the agenda is executive session. We do not have anything for executive session. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.